lollipop, my wife can cook edition. It's fairly easy. I'm telling you, it's probably gonna be one of the shortest meals we ever had to prepare. I mean, the ingredients, they're minimal, not a lot of ingredients or anything like that. This was actually one of my husband's ideas, the chicken lollipops. So we're gonna get started. Make sure you go to our YouTube channel, subscribe and like. I did put a post in the group. Subscribe, share, and like our YouTube channel. And now we are going to get started with our chicken lollipops. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move forward. First, we're going to start with,
Let's make our sauce first and set it to the side, and then we'll go ahead and prepare our chicken.
Okay, for our sauce, we are using ketchup, Heinz ketchup. We're using oyster sauce, and this is the Panda brand oyster sauce. Then we have our soy sauce. Then we have our mirin. A mirin is a rice wine, or it's a type of sake. Mirin just has less alcohol content and more sugar content for the.
And that's a natural sugar content from the fermentation process, so there's no added sugar to it.
Yes, and mirin can be found right next to the soy sauce in your local market. It's on the same aisle as your soy sauce and all your
typically for all of our Asian sauces or products, we go to H Mart in our area.
Yes. Okay, so we have some other spices. We have paprika that we're going to be using. We have honey, and this honey actually was made by our neighbor. It is organic honey, straight from the bee, straight from the beehive. Straight from the beehive.
A couple yards away from our back door.
Yeah, straight from the bee, and it's very good. And then I believe that's all that the sauce requires. So it was 2 tablespoons of honey that we're going to go ahead and mix up.
So one of the things you want to do is of course we're cooking it today, so we're not showing the process, but you want to make your sauce ahead of time and put it on your chicken and let it marinate overnight.
Yes, it said marinated overnight, or for at least 3 hours is what you want to try to do, so that the marinade can stick to your chicken drumsticks.
So you saw the ingredients that we posted. We're putting everything inside here except for the sesame seed and the scallions.
And also everything, so use 2 tablespoons of honey, 1 tablespoon of ketchup, 1 tablespoon of mirin, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, and 2 teaspoons of paprika.
You want to make sure you use real honey. That honey's going to give it a nice shellac, a nice gold or glossy color. That's why you want to make sure you use a nice thick rich honey.
Yes.
Once you have all your ingredients together, you want to whisk it around.
This is probably the easiest part of the process. And you'll see as we move forward with our making our chicken turn into lollipop. You pour it right in here. Use that to brush it on later. And it has a nice consistency. It's not too thin and it's not too thick.
It has a nice glaze, and you can see already before we even put it in the oven, it already has a nice gloss to it.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so now this is what it looks like. See how it has that? I mean, it looks, and it got a nice shine to it. It looks glossy. So we're going to set this aside because we're not going to use this yet, but we're just going to set this aside.
So just to give you an example, here's some chicken that we made earlier and marinated in the sauce. These are actually wings. We're going to marinate these overnight and then grill them tomorrow. So you can use this sauce in your grill, in your oven, either or it'll come out just fine.
Yeah, so that's what we're going to do for tomorrow. But for today, we're going to actually prepare some, but this is what they look like once you prepare them. We prepared these beforehand, but we're going to my husband's going to actually cut 2 up so we can show you how it works, how you do this.
Alright, so I just washed my hands and I got some chicken here. We already washed the chicken and cleaned it up.
Yes.
We kind of got rid of any of the extra fat pieces that were hanging down the bottom. And what we're going to do now is, you see the chicken doesn't stand. So we want to prep the chicken so that it can stand the way these ones are standing. So we want to even out the base. So you want to have a good sharp knife that you can use for that and clear off any of the extra section.
Yes.
Now, you see we have all that extra chicken that was left there. I wanted to show you guys this. Here's our chicken that was left from earlier. We saved it. All of this chicken, none of that goes to waste. We saved that and we make chicken broth with that.
Yes.
Chicken broth is the base for a lot of different recipes. So we want to make sure that we keep that chicken. And now you can see the chicken leg stands up. That's the easy part. The harder part is clearing off this top part so that you can have your knuckle look like this. I'm going to take the full off of this. That's how you want to have your knuckle look nice and clean. So that's where we're going to aim to attempt right here.
Yes.
Be careful not to cut yourself. You also want to make sure that you have a good sharp knife.
Yes, be very careful because the chicken is wet, the chicken is slippery.
So you want to take and push that chicken down, separate it, make sure everything's separated. As you can see, we cut through it, but it's still not too separated. So I'm gonna cut it a little bit more. A little bit more down there. And this is a good, fun appetizer. You could also have it as a main meal. So we're going to show you plated 2 different ways today. So you see our chicken standing.
And
I like to take an extra little step and trim it with scissors.
and make it pretty much look like a lollipop.
All right.
Chicken. And then we got to take the extra meat off the bottom of the bone. And it's best to use a paper towel because the paper towel grips it, or you can use a rag, like a clean rag, a clean towel,
kitchen towel,
and just pull it right off. And there you have your chicken lollipop. See, it's really clean, and just sit it right down in it.
push it down, and as you can see, it stands up real nice. So
Yes,
I'm going to do one more. Base off so we can get it to stand. He's standing beautifully. Take the top part off. So this is actually called Frenching the chicken when you do it this way. You could also do this with chicken leg quarters. You'll take that leg quarter section, debone it, and stuff it. So there's another option you can do with that as well.
Yes.
Again, taking my paper towel, pulling him off. If you're not a person who really likes raw meat and stuff, this might not be a fun one for you. You see, I'm going to clean it up now, the tendons.
Yes.
Especially if you're using it for an appetizer portion, you want to make sure you clean it up real well.
Now, we didn't season our chicken because the recipe didn't call for it, but you can season however you want to season it. We just
preferably just salt and pepper.
Yeah, preferably salt and pepper, but we just put the glaze on it, and we already tasted some that we prepared, and it was really good without all of that.
I want to show you guys both options here. So some people will cut the knuckle off and leave it like this, or you can leave the knuckle on it. I like to leave the knuckle on it and cover it with foil like this when we bake it.
Yes.
We have our oven on already at 400 degrees.
Yes. And you can any pan, that's big enough to hold them, but you want a flat surface pan so they can sit down and won't flop over. Just any flat. But you want a pan with a little leverage so that when the juice comes down out of it, it doesn't spill all over in your oven.
This pan is about 1 inch deep. Also, we want to make sure we line it with foil. We're putting the sticky sauce on there, so we don't want to be all day trying to scrub the pan. So we want that foil on there to catch all that stickiness. We're going to take and brush these again. And this process works real well if you're grilling it. Cover them with the sauce, and then halfway through the process, you want to cover them again and one more time. As you can see, they already have a nice look to them already before we even cook them.
I really actually thought this was going to be a lot harder, but it's not hard at all. Like I said, the hardest part was trying to get the meat off of the bone. But after several tries, again, we were able to get it. And again, if you have any extra sauce, You can use it if you're gonna cook chicken the next day, if you're gonna grill chicken. Even I'm sure you probably can use it for other meats as well. Turkey chops, pork chops.
It's also a good dipping sauce.
Yeah.
So one of the things, reason why people like drumsticks is because they're easy to eat, not too messy. So if you're at a party and somebody's walking around with appetizers at your party, the drumsticks is a good thing to put on there, on your appetizer list.
Yes, let me put these on here. Put these on the edges. Keep them together.
So if you're neat enough not to get any sauce on the foil during your brushing process, then you'll be able to keep the same foil on there. But if for some reason you get your sauce on there and they get a little bit crazy looking, before you put them out to serve, you want to take that foil off and put a new foil on.
Yeah.
So we're going to put these in the oven. These actually only cook for about 20 minutes, but chicken that cooked the way that we were raised, we cook it a lot longer. So I did use a meat thermometer. I have a digital one here that I stuck in the chicken 20 minutes after it was done to make sure that it reached 165 degrees. And it actually tell you on a lot of these digital thermometers at what temperature your meat is cooked at. So for poultry, it gave us 165 degrees Fahrenheit or 74 degrees Celsius. We took it out, checked it at that time, 20 minutes. It wasn't done enough for our liking or our taste, so we put it back in for another 10 minutes.
Yes.
So when you put these in the oven, put them in for 10 minutes, take them out, put some more sauce on them, put them back in another 10 minutes, take them out, more sauce, and back in for 10 more minutes.
Yes. A lot. You can put them in.
Okay.
You can put them in the oven. Yeah, I didn't like he said. If you like yours more crispier, some people like their skin crispy. Once again, we like ours a little more crispy and a little more darker than what the recipe called for. But you can cook it to your liking. All right.
So now we want to prepare our sesame seed. So we're going to put it in for about 3 minutes, a handful, like so. I have a spoon here.
Okay.
So I'm only going to use the spoon when I put them on the chicken, but I kind of wanted you guys to see some of them in there are a little bit darker already because we did toast some earlier and we put the remainder back in a bowl. But typically you're going to see them begin to get a little bit darker in color, a little bit more brownish in color. And that process takes 2 to 3 minutes depending on how high you have the fire. You'll see after a while, if you don't move it around, they'll start to pop out of the pan.
The sesame seeds are roasted, and so these ones have already been prepared, already cooked, already done. So we're gonna put our garnish on there now.
There we go.
Our sesame seeds. And you can sprinkle however much you want on there. It don't have to be a little, it can be a lot. But it does give it a crispier taste.
All right, so let's look at the chicken too. Do you notice how the chicken is really glossy looking? There's one. So I took the foil off some so you can have an idea to see both of them. So here's one without the foil. This one with the foil makes the presentation look a little bit better when you go to serve it as an appetizer. So add a little bit more sesame seeds to that one. You see that color right in there? That's kind of the color we're aiming for with our glaze.
And so now we
Take
have
these back.
and so the last part is to dress them with scallions. And again, there's no quantity, there's no certain amount that you have to put on there. You can put as much as you want on there. And these are fairly potent. They're strong. I didn't realize they were that strong. Yeah, someone has a question.
Is the chicken glossy because of the coating of the sauce?
Yes, the chicken is glossy because of the sauce. Yes, we didn't put anything else on the chicken but the sauce that came with the recipe.
And then there's another question.
Yes.
What's the point of the foil?
The foil
Keeps
is
the bone from burning
the foil keeps the bone from burning.
and getting too dark.
And also gives it a better presentation as well. Also, we double glaze these, right?
Triple.
How many glaze processes did we use?
We did 3, so every 10 minutes.
So every 10 minutes, we re-brushed them with the glaze. So the first 10 minutes, we took them out, glazed them. Another 10 minutes, we took them out, glazed them. So we did that 3 times. We glazed them, and I think that's what gave it the shine.
So now we're gonna add some green onions.
So now we're adding our green onions on. And the sauce is sticky, so the scallion should stick to the chicken drumsticks. But this is how they look. But here you have it. This is our chicken drumstick lollipops. Chicken lollipops is what we call them. And again, we're having rice with ours. This is like an Indian cuisine. And so we're also gonna have some naan bread with it tonight.
Hummus.
And hummus. But you can make it with whatever side you want. Again, you know my favorite saying, whatever you like. Make it with whatever you like, whatever you desire. Rice, another type of vegetable, broccoli, string beans. It pretty much can go with anything. But here is the finished product. Like, again, easy, quick, minor ingredients, tasty, looks presentable. So I'm gonna try this one, see how it tastes. Tastes good. Not bad at all. Not bad. But what I like about it, when you bite down into it, the sesame seed with the scallions and the sauce just comes together. The skin is very crispy. Skin is very crispy. And I thought, because the scallions are really strong in smell, but the taste.
Yeah, it balances real well with the sweetness of the sauce.
Yeah.
The honey is coming through real well. The honey is also what helps give it that really nice glaze. It reminds you of, if you ever had Peking duck, the sauce is kind of similar to the Peking duck sauce taste.
Very good. Really good. Really good. Really good.
We did good.
All
So
right.
that was a quick one. It's a nice to serve for appetizer if you're having a party. The other thing that's good about it is that the price isn't expensive at all. You could get a pound or a pound and a half of drumsticks for about $6 or $7, sometimes even less than that. Pretty much about 77 cents a pound or something like that.
Yeah, I think we got 2 packs. Each pack of the chicken drumstick we have is like $6 and some change. Pretty much this whole meal was less than $20.
Yes.
And we have a big family, so we use 2 packs. But 1 pack of chicken and the ingredients, most of the ingredients we had already in the house. The ketchup, the honey. I think the only thing we had to buy was more soy sauce, oyster sauce. We didn't have to buy
the mirin.
and the mirin. Everything else we pretty much had already in the house. So these are probably household ingredients that you already had.
And I want to say, you don't have to use that recipe. So if you have your own favorite barbecue sauce, you could do that same process and put that on there, add a little bit more honey to your barbecue sauce, and that's going to help give you that nice gloss as well.
Yes. But again, this was really good. Thanks, babe, for coming up with the idea. I'm not the cook, he's the cook. So when we come up with these meals, sometimes we go back and forth, because he knows more about what to do and how to do it. I'm actually learning while I'm on set. I'm learning while we're on set. But I just thank God that, we can work together. And that's what it's about. It's about balance. He not a cook, so he helping me out. So it balances out, and that's how it's supposed to be.
I hope you guys try this recipe, and if you do, send us some photos of it. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
And keep God first. We always say that at the end of our videos. Keep God first. You might not understand everything that he's trying to do, but if you keep him first, I promise you he won't lead you wrong. He won't steer you in the wrong direction. But I want to thank you for tuning in tonight. And this is My Wife Can't Cook, where some of us can cook, some of us can't. But either way, we cooking.